Clinton out. Hillary weighs in on Brexit in Ireland but is met with furious protest. The former Democrat contender for president was visiting Trinity College in Dublin, where she was picking up an honorary degree. Speaking to students, Mrs. Clinton, whose husband Bill was a former U.S. president, spoke of the 1998 Good Friday Agreement which mostly ended the bloodshed in Northern Ireland. The pair were the first presidential couple to visit the country in 1995 before the Good Friday Agreement was signed, which helped to end 3 decades of violence in the country and the rest of the UK. She said the Good Friday Agreement set an example for the rest of the world and was proof of what was possible when citizens came together to demand peace. She said, "As the Brexit debate rages on, I continue to believe in the value of the European Union, and of a Europe that is whole, free and at peace. No matter the outcome of these discussions, Brexit should not be allowed to undermine the peace that people voted, fought and even died for." The future of the Irish border is one of the most contested and debated issues facing negotiators in Brussels, with little insight into the conclusion at present. During her speech, she also cited the recent referendum over abortion laws in Northern Ireland, hailing the result as an inspiring insight. A provision in the Irish constitution gave equal value to the life of an unborn fetus to that of its mother, with one permitting abortion in a limited number of circumstances. Speaking of the referendum result, Mrs. Clinton said, "It was an example of grassroots activism fueled by young people, and a triumph of the democratic process." However, a protest took place outside the building where Mrs. Clinton had delivered her address, with demonstrators shouting "Clinton, out, out, out." Dublin Workers' Party councillor Liz Ryan said of her visit, "Clinton has done nothing to progress the causes of women. She has abused the label of feminist in order to further her own agenda, and I think women involved in politics have a responsibility to reject that." Mrs. Clinton's visit coincides with a trip to Dublin by former FBI Director James Comey, the man she effectively blames for torpedoing her presidential bid. Mr. Comey, who was subsequently fired by President Donald Trump, caused controversy in the final days of the 2016 campaign when he announced he was reopening a probe into Mrs. Clinton's emails. On Friday, Theresa May faced a fresh challenge as Scottish and Welsh leaders, Nicola Sturgeon and Carwyn Jones, demanded she ditch her negotiating strategy over a hard Brexit. Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar joined Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon and Welsh First Minister Carwyn Jones for a Brexit summit in the Channel Islands today. They demanded agree to remain shackled to the European Union through its single market and customs union, saying a hard Brexit will deeply damage our economies and possibly jeopardize our security. In a joint statement, Ms. Sturgeon and Mr. Jones said, "In practice, the Prime Minister's position on issues such as customs arrangements and regulatory alignment appears increasingly difficult to reconcile with the red lines, but she cannot come clean because she is held hostage by the Brexiteers in her cabinet and party. This cannot continue. We call on the UK government in its forthcoming white paper to commit to staying inside the single market and customs union, recognizing that this will require continued alignment with the EU regulatory environment. The aim should be a Norway Plus model on the basis that the red lines set out by the Prime Minister in her Lancaster House speech in January 2017 are not consistent with the national interest."